Welcome to the Logic in Life Coaching Podcast, episode 23.
Everyone wants happiness and success, and we know how to get you there. Come listen to the Leadership Society of Arizona as we teach a proven logic to help you simplify life, overcome challenges, and predict the future. You're listening to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. Welcome to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. My name is Chuck Solanas, and I'm joined by Dr. Jacob Kashiwagi. We're very excited to have him on. He's such a special guest. Very excited. Are you excited?
Yes, I'm always excited to be here, Chuck.
Okay, wonderful. So the question for this week is about something that I have had an issue with for many years. It's that I don't really take advice. I have a hard time taking advice. So
I didn't notice.
hey.
It's a joke.
Okay, all right. So I've found it very difficult to ask for help. And the advice I receive when I do ask for help, I normally reject. So if not initially, I take the advice. I mean, I might try it, and then I just throw it away. So what am I doing wrong? Why do I have a hard time valuing the advice others give me?
So first, Chuck, don't feel bad. Probably 99% of all people who have ever lived never took advice very well from others. And you might not be doing anything wrong. Maybe what you're doing wrong is asking for advice too much. Just
Whoa.
kidding. You can never ask for advice too much. But maybe you're asking the wrong people for advice. And that's why you're not following it. So, look, to be able to accept advice, you need two things. One, you need to be able to ask for it. Two, then you need to be able to listen to it. I guess maybe three things you need. You need to be able to ask, you need to be able to listen to what people say, and then three, you need to have the capability to do what they're suggesting, right? For example, if I ask a coach for advice and say, hey, what is it going to take for me to be on this basketball team? He tells me, well, Jacob, you're only 5'5" right now. You got to grow another 7 inches. Yeah, I mean, that's great advice, and I can listen to it, and I can be willing to do it, but there's no way I'm growing another 7 inches, being as old as I am. So, in that case, not following his advice is not necessarily my issue, right? I can't do it. There's no way. And so a lot of times we need to remember this when we're asking for advice. It could be one of the three things. One, maybe actually you're not asking for advice and, run into issues. Maybe you're not listening to the advice because it's tough for you to listen. Or three, maybe it's not that you're not listening to it and you're just not following it. Maybe it's you don't have the capability to do what people are telling you to do. Right? And so these are all things that we need to keep into account when trying to be hard on ourselves for not following advice of others.
Got it. Okay.
Now the second thing is you might not have the capability, and so you might have too high of expectations of how much of the advice of other people you can actually implement.
Yeah. Well, I was advised to wake up early, and I was like, oh, I'm going to wake up early. Today's the day. I set my alarm for 6:30. And, to some people's standards, that's not really early. But to me, since I've been going to bed around 1 with my family because we have a newborn and that sort of thing, I just turned that alarm off really quick. But I still got up. I let the dog out, and then I laid on the couch, and then I slept till 10. I was like, ah.
See, but the thing about it is you did follow the advice. You did wake up and you did set your alarm.
Right.
So, your expectation maybe about how closely you follow to their advice might be a little too high because you're still doing and trying to do what they want you to do.
Right. And I think I can try again tomorrow, and maybe that'll help. I mean, just consistency, I guess.
And also, sometimes advice takes a little while to sink in. So if you're a parent and you're talking to a child and you give the child advice, I mean, that advice might not sink in for like 5 to 10 years, but it could be in 5 or 10 years that your child is going through an issue and they remember exactly what you told them. And it helps them out tremendously in the next, after 10 years.
Sheesh. For someone who's like trying to get instant gratification from like giving advice, that seems like a wrong move.
But I've seen myself that my father has told me certain things about being successful or raising a family, whatever it might be, that at the time I had no clue what he was talking about. It just left. But as it became more relevant in my life, it came back to me. So there's two things. One, if you're on the giving end of advice, don't be too sure that someone's not following your advice or it didn't help them in their life yet, if you don't see immediate action. And two, if you are the one receiving advice, don't be so hard on yourself if you don't follow the advice right away. It could be that you need a little bit of time to increase your capability and you still the advice, maybe just not as quickly as you expected.
Yeah, that could be it.
One of the things I tell people with being hard on themselves for not taking advice or asking for help is that time solves everything. Right? If you're thinking that you don't take advice well and you don't follow it, well, just give it time. After years of going and doing your own thing and going through pain and bad experiences and things that being unsuccessful at things, failures, whatever, after you do this for so many years, it has a way of allowing you or developing the ability to listen and to directions and advice a lot more.
Yeah, I could imagine. Yeah, after enough pain, you want to figure out, okay, I gotta change something.
So I know a lot of people, they don't want to wait. They don't want to wait 10 years to start implementing and learning and improving, because I'm assuming you want to follow advice because you want to get better in life quicker.
Yes.
So I got 3 things you can do. Okay. So the first piece of advice is document. But this document is really identifying the decisions you're making, if you're following the advice that people give you, if you even ask for advice, and then how it goes in the end. Am I lagging?
No.
Good. So, if you do this over time, it will naturally let you see, are you listening? Are you trying to do it? And also, you'll see the outcome. When you clearly see what you did and what the outcome is, it helps you in the future to know the right things to do. So if you're seeing you didn't listen, bad outcome, didn't listen, bad outcome, didn't listen, bad outcome, the next time you're going to think twice before you don't listen, right? And that's the thing with documentation. It makes it very simple for you to know what's going on. Okay, the second, get feedback. So the more you talk to other people about it, talk with people who see what's going on, right? Who watch you every day, and ask them these questions like, do you think I listen to other people? And what do you think's going on? And how do you think, why do you think I'm running into all of these issues in my life? Or, what's the cause of me like being able to do a lot? Is it because I'm listening? Is it because of, whatever it might be? But the more you talk with other people about it and you get their viewpoint on things, one, it teaches you to listen. Two, it might give you more insight that you did not see into what you're doing in life. And the third one, you got to know what's coming. Talk with the mentor. Now, this one's not get a mentor. This one's talk with the mentor. So I'm assuming that you've listened to my previous advice already and you found a mentor. But you have to talk in order to know if you won't listen. See, listening and following through with advice is a talent. The more you do it, the more capable of following advice you are in the future. And so if you don't have someone who's giving you advice continually, like a mentor, then you don't get that practice. And so yes, definitely talk with the mentor, ask a mentor for help, for advice, and eventually you're going to listen. Now, if it's not going as quickly as you think, it could be your mentor's too high or too low for you. What does that mean? It means if a mentor has too much understanding and is trying to tell you to do things that are way beyond your capability, that's not the right mentor. But if a mentor is like way down here and is giving you like bad advice, like you take the advice and a bad outcome happens, that's also, you don't have the right mentor. So you need to find someone in your range that will give you advice that you're capable of doing. It might not be like the 100% best advice, but if you're capable of doing it and it's better than what you're doing, that's your stepping stone. And eventually you'll get to the ability where you can have like the best leader or mentor who's giving you the best advice, and you can actually do it.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've had a lot of mentors in the past that have given me bad advice. where I follow the advice and then I have a terrible outcome, like the worst outcome. You told me to do that, and then there's like, oh no, I didn't tell you to do that. Like, no, I remember. Anyway, so I guess it is important to understand who actually understands, and then if you're documenting these outcomes that come from what they told you to do and what ends up happening, then you're gonna quickly identify if they're a bad mentor or if they're a good mentor, probably, right?
You got it.
Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. Well, I appreciate the time, Dr. Jacob. Thank you, listeners, for listening and viewers for watching. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. It would be great if you could take a moment to write us a review. For any questions, comments, or topics that you would like to have addressed on the show, email the team at leadaz.org. To learn more about the Leadership Society of Arizona, visit us at leadaz.org.